show of hands, who here is actually a wholesaler or does off-market real estate? I know you do in the back. Is that it? There's no, yeah, you're kind of, right? Okay. So my stuff is, mostly for the wholesalers, but I can kind of tailor it for you guys who are just trying to do like long-term rentals or fix and flips, right? So we've done a lot of marketing in the last couple of years. We spent a lot of money. So I think in 2024, we spent about $76,000 in ad revenue. Cover your ears, honey. Okay, that's my wife up here, by the way. So we spent a lot of money. So we spent about $76,000 in 2024, and we probably closed maybe, I got like 4 mics on me.
I know. We're going to capture all the possible great
In 2024, we probably closed like 6 or 7 deals, and they were all like fix and flips because I thought fix and flipping was cool, which I personally don't like anymore. So I don't want to insult anyone's intelligence, right? So the biggest difference is leads and data. Does anybody know the difference between the two? Man, you guys are a tough crowd. All right, so data. Data is all the lists you pull, right? Pre-foreclosure, probate, divorce, water shutoffs, all this fun stuff, right? Most people, when they first start investing, they think data is leads. Leads is when they actually say, when you call them on the phone, they say, yeah, I'm ready to sell, or I'm interested in selling, right? So these are actual people that raise their hand.
It's kind of like a prospect, right?
That's right, right? This is just lists. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because a lot of people mix these two things up, right? So what do we do with off-market real estate or talking to agents or just trying to generate, a prospect to be able to close them is you have to use this data that you get and you want to market yourself, right? I'm sorry for my chicken scratch. But you take this data and you use different strategies to market to these people and you turn them into prospects or leads, right? Cool. So how do you market? Let's go free 99 all the way to paid, okay, real quick. And then I'll kind of walk you through the steps. So cold calling is free. That's a free way. And then we'll dive through.
Do you count that? Door knocking as well?
I suppose. It is. Door knocking is free if you want to count gas, right? So you got cold calling, you got door knocking, and then who here is a wholesale? So I know in the back, if you guys don't email, this is what you have to do. This is absolutely for free to an extent, right? We email all of our data lists, and we probably generate maybe 32% of our deals every single month is from email marketing, okay? And it's absolutely for free. How do you do it for free? YouTube a video to mail merge, and you can literally mail merge quickly 50 different emails a day. You can literally send 50 emails a day if you really want to, and it's absolutely for free.
Mail merge, what do you mean by that?
I'm not technical, but that's why I said watch a YouTube video. But really, it's like a Word document, right? And you can build out a template, and you can literally copy your data onto the emails, and it creates 50 different emails for you, right? You just port it over to Gmail. So that's the free way. You can also use a CRM. So obviously we use a CRM. We use Go High Level. So we send about 100 emails a day plus, depending on how many leads we get. And we put them through a 7-day email marketing campaign specifically to that lead source. So if we're talking about pre-foreclosure, we want to send them a chain of emails that are focused on pre-foreclosure. Hey, sounds like you're having a really rough time. I don't expect an answer back, but here's a PDF on 10 different ways to help you stop a foreclosure. That's day 1.
Value first.
Okay?
Always.
Day 2. Hey, we sent you an email yesterday. I'm not sure if you saw it. We just wanted to see if you needed help arranging anything or need help with anything, okay? When these people read the emails, because you can tell on a CRM who's reading it, right? So my acquisition managers know that if people are reading 2, 3, 4 emails at a time, we're going to give them a call. Hey, my name is Tim. I'm from Top Gap Homes. We've been sending you emails about how to help you with foreclosure. We just wanted to see where you're at, if you needed help arranging anything. Way different phone call than saying, hey, you're the homeowner, 123 Main Street, I want to buy your crib. Right? A lot different, right? So value focus. And we do that for every type of lead source, probate, code violations, divorce, right? All this different stuff. So we just talked to a divorced person or going through a divorce. Unfortunately, it's a bad time for them. But we actually got on a call with them a couple days ago. Turned into a sub-2 deal. Why? The seller literally told me, bro, you're the only one that has not been trying to buy my house outright. You actually talk to me and figure out that sub 2 is probably the best option for me, right? Changes the conversation. So these are the free ways, right? There's obviously a ton of different paid ways too, but SMS is kind of free, right? SMS, text blasting. I personally don't SMS anymore just because I don't want to get sued, but that's up to you guys. But this is effective once you've talked to the seller, and then you can kind of text them. I don't prefer to do cold because if you guys are wholesalers or doing a lot of outreach, you'll notice that when you do SMS campaigns, after 4 people opt out of your text messages, it stops your automation. So it's not really efficient, right, in my opinion. But you can do different companies like Launch Control, all these different things to help you SMS blast at bulk. But like I said, it's up to you guys if you want to do texting. But these are pretty much the free ways, right? So I said that I would kind of explain cold calling. So who here is a cold caller out here? Oh yeah, a lot of you guys aren't wholesalers, right? So cold calling is probably, I would split it up into 3 different tiers, right? So you go tier 1, which is the best. Tier 2 is like, okay. And tier 3 is what most people are doing. Tier 3, they're pulling bulk data lists, right? They're pulling lists of like 10, 20,000 records, right? And then they're spending a lot of money to skip trace. And then they probably, if they're doing 10 to 20,000 records a month, they can't really call all those people, right? So what do you do? Because a lot of people in 9-to-5 jobs like me, this is literally what I did. I bought 20, 30,000 records, and then I hired virtual assistants out in the Philippines because I can't physically call 10,000 people a month, right? So this is bulk data, bulk VAs, and if you guys don't know, ready mode, the power dial, all this stuff, we probably spent about 3 to 4K a month just off data and softwares, right? Does anybody know what cash conversion cycle is? Anybody know what that is? Okay, so imagine you put $1 into marketing, how long it takes for you to get your money back. So if I put $1 in today, depending on what marketing channel I use, they all have different cash conversion cycles. So if I put $1 in, cold calling is about 4 to 6 months cash conversion cycle. So I put $1 in, on average, it'll take me 4 months to see my money return, right? And what's your goal? You want to at least 3x your revenue? I know I'm talking like crazy stuff right now, so please stop me if I'm like going too hard. But 3x revenue, right, or return of investment for your marketing. So if I spend $10, I want at least $30 coming back, right? And if you're cold calling, it takes about 4 to 6 months to get your money back, okay? So as you can see, if we're spending $3,000, $4,000 a month, and it's a 4-month cash conversion cycle, I need to spend $12,000 for a chance to close a few deals, right, to get paid. You're nodding your head because you feel that pain, right? You feel it? It's okay. It's okay. I trust me, I've been there. So tier 2 is a little more focused. So this is more of like for you sub 2 seller finance folks. So this is more data that's a little more specific, a little more niched. So this is like your low equity. This is like your, your probate, your divorce. I'm sorry, I'm really bad handwriting. But there's all those different types of lists. So you're going from 10,000 records to maybe 5,000 records, right? You still probably can't call them yourself, so you still need a virtual assistant to do all this stuff. Ah, thank you.
I'm not great either, but better, a little better.
So the best tier of cold calling is super niche lists. So you've heard Pace say it, you've heard all these different wholesalers say it. What's the best records for me? It's county courthouse record data. Why? It's free to an extent, right? You can go to the local county records, bring the ladies, nice ladies, some donuts, some coffee, and you can try to get those records, right? Or you can pay for something, for a service to give you that data. But why do I like county courthouse record data? Well, because when you call bulk data, so you're calling 10, 20, 30,000 records, I like to compare it to a needle in the haystack method, right? You're digging through the haystack to find that one needle of someone saying, maybe I want to sell, okay? County record data, if you call foreclosure list, they're on the clock, right? They don't really have much time. So I want to tell people that it's not about generating more leads. It's about finding the right leads and then also having the sales skills to convert those leads, right? Because one of my acquisition managers literally told me, Tim, I can't close deals because I need to generate 4 leads a day to be able to get 3 contracts a month. I'm like, why are you saying that? right? I literally just, let me cold call these lists for a week or two, and we locked up like 5 contracts, right? It's a sales problem, but I'll get to that after. Okay, so that's the cold calling method. Does anyone have any questions so far?
Tough question. Feel free. Okay, I'm gonna ask a question.
Okay.
The email, right? You said it's free to get it. It's like, how did you get the email from those prospects? Well, no, from the data.
Yeah, so you can skip trace them, right? So just like any other skip tracing service, some do give emails. You can pay for a service. There's companies like Data Syndicate. I don't know if DealSauce gives emails or not, but that's a way to generate those emails. And I know cyberbackgroundcheck.com is a free website. It's great, yeah, I use it, right? So it's absolutely for free. So cyber background check.
Cyber background check. How
Yep.
much you pay for it?
It's free.
It's free.
100% free.
It's scarily accurate too.
Correct.
Cyber background.
So if you guys want to skip trace for free, it takes a little bit of time because you have to type in the address and stuff. So cyberbackgroundcheck.com, and then what's the second one? True People Search. So that, yeah, that's the most common one. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions about this? And then we'll start talking about paid marketing, right? So I want you guys to understand the cash conversion cycle, because this is a big thing moving forward for any type of marketing you do. Okay.
So it's the dollar you spend until that you lock up the deal and close?
Correct.
Okay.
So let's start talking about paid stuff, right? You guys get the gist of it, data and all this stuff. So, okay. So direct mail. This is a paid version. So let's talk about direct mail real quick. So what is the average? So when you do a marketing channel, you got to figure out what is the industry standard to get a response rate. Okay, I think direct mail is a 0.4% response rate. Okay, so that's one thing. Now, yeah, but it makes sense, right? And then,
Take $1
yeah,
each mail, right?
and then every deal or every marketing channel you do, on average, how many interested sellers do you need to speak to that results in a contract? Okay. For direct mail, it's about 1 contract out of 42 people that say yes, I'm interested in selling. So if you need 46 people to say yes, I think you need to send like 10,000 mailers, right? But that's actually not that much, right? When you talk about direct mail. So how much money do you think that's costing you? So $1.25 per mailer, right? So you can see how much money this costs. Okay? Who's heard of PPL? Pay per lead.
Anybody know PPL?
Anybody using PPL?
No?
Anybody use Jay using PPL?
Pay per lead.
This ish stinks, right? I'm telling you. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'll tell you why. So pay per lead, you're paying for a company to give you a lead, right? So I'm not going to say any companies. I don't want to get in trouble. So let's say a company generates leads, they run ads, they do all these things, and then they sell you a lead, right? This is you, happy. But what they're actually doing, there's no guarantee to who they're selling that lead to. Okay, so this company's running ads, and then they're going to sell it to this guy, 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 they're going to sell it to this guy.
That's not true.
I know, right? Well, there's a law coming out soon, so they're gonna put a stop to that, right? So I'm being a little dramatic here, but this is kind of the truth, right? So if you guys don't know how PPL services work, it's using a bidding system, right? So in Louisville, Kentucky, my old market, I used to spend, cover your ears again, $428 per lead, and a lot of these leads were crap. Okay, industry standard at the time when I was doing this in 2024. I would need 16 of these to convert into a contract. How much money is that? Someone do the math. Like 4,000-ish, 5,000-ish, right? So to get a contract, it's $5,000 to get a contract. And that's if I'm good at sales. What if you suck at sales, right? 1 out of 24, 1 out of 36. You see what I'm getting at, right? That's why I always convert it to having a sales ability. I can print as many leads as I want, but if you suck at sales, you're going broke, right? That's PPL. If you're going to do this model, you might as well just run your own ads. And what is that? That's PPC. Pay per click, right? Meta ads. If you don't know my other business partner, William, right? He does PPC ads for people, for wholesalers, right? That's what he does. Agencies, right? You deal with agencies. No, Will you? My little brother. Okay? Meta, Google, YouTube, right? TikTok. You know, Leadzolo. If you guys don't know Leadzolo, they use TikTok ads, right? So they run their own ads. So they film an ad. They film myself. Hey, I'm Tim. I'm down in Louisville, Kentucky. You see right behind me. I'm a cash buyer, and I want to help you in your distressed property, right? I'm going to run an ad, and they fill out something. Boom. You'd rather just run your own ads at this point because this is crazy. You can't control it.
And that's exclusive.
But with this, it's your leads, right? But you got to spend money. You got to spend like $3,000 to $4,000, right? $3,000 to $4,000 a month. Same thing. To be successful, right? Because what, PPC is like 1 in 12? 1 in 12 leads, right? Look, it's better. It's better than PPL, and you're in control, right? But the same thing applies. If you suck at sales, you're not going to convert those leads, right? So these are just some of the different paid ways to generate leads. Yeah, so basically, branding is also a free way, right? A lot of people don't want to put their time in brand. That's why I don't talk about it. Me and my partners generate a lot of leads through our brand, YouTube channel, right? So a lot of people actually send us messages on Instagram because they see that we provide a lot of value to our sellers, and the sellers actually reach out. Second thing, if you do a deal with somebody, a seller, if you buy a house off a seller, do you guys follow up with your sellers? I know you have automation in your CRM, right? Because I know Closer Control, right? So we follow up with all our sellers. Hey, Mr. Seller, I know you put some money in your pocket, and I know you had a good experience with us. Do you know anybody that would probably sell? Because if we close, we'll give you $2,000 to $3,000 extra on top for every deal you give us. I get people like, oh yeah, I know somebody that wants to sell, right? And then if we close that deal, we'll pay them $2,000 to $3,000. That's just free marketing, man. You're creating your own army of lead generation. Same thing with agents. If you want to play the agents game, I can't really speak savvy to it because I'm not a direct-to-agent investor. But if you're a real estate agent or you want to talk to agents, that's still a free way. It's the same thing as talking to a seller, but you're talking to a licensed realtor, right? You give them your buy box, you have a conversation, you build relationships, and this kind of bleeds into lending as well, right? So, hey, Mr. Agent, did I tell you that I also lend money as well? So it's just a different way to kind of maximize your return, right? So, is there any questions so far?
I tap you 5 times talking about if you're terrible at sales, it doesn't mean anything. Let's talk about that.
Cool. Let's get into it. This is what I really like to do. This is what I really like to do. Okay.
You can always JD, you can close, right?
So, who here's talked to sellers before or tried to? You? Have you? Okay. So, what do people like? What is a seller objection? Seller objection when someone says, "Oh, I need to talk to my wife," or "I need to think about it." What is one example that you've heard when you're talking to a seller and you're trying to close them?
I gotta think about it.
Yeah, think about it. Oh, I gotta think about it. Cool. So what would you do in a normal? Oh, what do you gotta think about it? You're going through foreclosure. You're doing all this stuff, right? That's a hard way to do it. What's up?
I'm not selling my house.
I'm not selling my house. Well, that's a different motivator. That's a motivation thing. I'd be like, okay, it sounds like you're just shopping around. You're not super interested right now, and that's absolutely okay. Yeah, I'm actually not ready to sell. Cool. Do you mind if I follow up with you in a couple months, see where you're at, see if you need any help? Cool, no problem. I'm going to move on from that lead. I'm not going to waste any more time. Because we talk to 10, 20 sellers a day, can't really talk to you. But hey, I got to think about it, right? Is that what you say?
Or I want 500,000, not a penny to ask.
Okay, so we'll do, yeah, I know, okay. I'm going to do, we'll do price second, because that's a big one too, right? There's a lot of sellers that have a shit ton of money, right? So the first one is, I got to think about it.
50% down payment.
Oh, that's easy. I would say, to be honest, ma'am, I'd rather just go to the bank and just put 20% down. Yeah, I'd rather just get a loan at that point, you know? But hey, if they got to think about it, right? I will tell you right now, if anybody, I was just ranting to my wife about this, if anyone says that they have to think about it, it's bullshit, okay? Why? Why is it bullshit? Because if you were a really good salesperson and you solved all the problems that they didn't already know existed, and they would have 100% certainty that you are their solution, what is there to think about? What is there to think about? Nothing. I'm your best option, right? So how would you like to proceed? Do you want me to send the agreement now or later? When are you available to look at your email? And we're going to call you and we're going to walk you through that whole agreement. If you have any questions, you can ask it then, and then we'll take you to the title company, right? So how would I kind of talk about, I need to think about it.
Right.
Amazing. Totally understand. I know it's a huge decision, deciding to sell your property. It's not like you're selling a pair of sneakers. Totally get it. When are you available in the next couple of days so I can get you on the phone so I can see if I have some availability in my schedule? Let's talk Tuesday, 5 p.m. Cool. I'll talk to you on Tuesday at 5 p.m. But before I go, is there anything that you need to kind of work through or figure out so I can be better prepared to talk to you on Tuesday at 5 p.m.?
Okay. Not too easy.
So nothing to talk about? I thought you said you had to think about it.
Well, I'm not ready to sell yet.
Oh, you're not ready to sell. Why is that? What changed? Right?
It's usually a soft no. That's the non-type, right? Would you agree?
So why did I do that? I need to think about it. Well, I need to talk to my wife. I need to talk to my husband. I need to talk to my partner. Cool. We'll schedule a time. I'm going to schedule a follow-up time for you. And before I get off, I'm lowering your guard. You think I'm getting, like if I'm knocking on your door, before I leave, see ya. Oh, by the way.
That's right.
What do you want to talk about so I can be better prepared when I meet you next week? Their guard is lowered, and then now they're going to actually talk to you, right? They're actually going to tell you what the real objection is, right? Oh, I'm not sure how this process is going to go. Oh, my apologies. That's on me. I did not explain the process. What exactly do you need to know how the process works to make you feel comfortable making it this yes or no decision today? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
What else? What other objections? What do you get? What's your number one objection?
Give me a hard one.
I need to talk to my husband.
That's kind of the same thing, right? You want to schedule a time. Absolutely. I appreciate you talking to your husband because that's a huge deal. When are you available in the next couple of days so I can check my schedule to see if I have time to talk to you? And why do I do that? You're putting yourself at a higher level, right? You're not sounding desperate. Oh, when are you available? Bro, when am I available to talk to you, right? Because I'm solving your problem. Sales is a gift, right? You're helping somebody like make a sale. You're not when you say that you're a wholesaler and you want to help people, you're not actually helping them if you can't close the deal, right? They're going to lose their house next week. So you got to convince them to buy their house, right? That's how you help people. So what else?
Gotta talk to my attorney.
Cool.
Oh, that's a good one.
Makes perfect sense. It's a huge decision. And you notice I'm always agreeing, right? I'm not going to fight them on it. Why do you need to talk to your attorney, right? Totally understand. This is a huge decision, and you want to make sure that you're protected, you and your family. Would you feel more comfortable if I gave you my attorney's phone number and then they can talk all the legal nonsense together so then we can actually keep building our relationship? Cool, right? Which title company do you close at, right? If you do a lot of deals in your local market, you have a title company that can probably speak on your behalf. I had a guy, my real estate attorney in Kentucky, he actually talked to a seller for me, a real attorney, right? Talked to the seller and said,
Close the seller for you?
yeah, he said, subject to is legal. Sub 2 is legal,
Yeah.
right? So build your bench, build your team. What else you got? Oh, intro? Okay. Oh, this is a loaded question because there's a lot of different ways. They all work at the end of the day, but I think the biggest thing is think about all these like telemarketers, all these life insurance salesy people, all this stuff, right? Car insurance, whatever. They all sound the same, especially if you have a virtual assistant. Hello, are you the homeowner of 123 Main Street? Yeah. Have you ever considered selling it for cash? It's the same crap, right? So what happens when you walk into a car dealership and you're like, you walk in, the car salesman goes, how's your day going? The weather's pretty good, right? They don't give a shit about how my day's going, right? They don't. And then when someone says that, you automatically get defensive. You just want me to like you so you can sell me a car, right? And then the car that I came in to see, it's not there. It's never there. Let me show you this car though, $20,000 more, right? So how I do it, the biggest thing is you want to sound different. You want to break the mind, right? Break the system that they're kind of working through So I would be like, Jay, is that you?
It is.
Oh, hey, Jay, so glad I got you on the phone. I'm actually a local real estate investor trying to buy my next rental property. Have you ever considered selling now or in the near future?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I'm gonna wait for you to get that mic. No?
What was that?
No?
No, I haven't. For the right price.
Oh, okay. It sounds like you're not really serious about selling, you're just shopping around. That's absolutely okay.
I mean, I've had a couple calls here and there, and they never pan out to my price.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Did you consider selling before we called you? Or have you always been thinking about selling?
I've been thinking about it. I've considered
Okay, how long?
the last 2 years.
Last 2 years. Wow. What makes you think that you're ready to make a decision today versus in the past?
I guess you're right. I guess if the right price comes along, then I'll.
Okay. So while we're speaking about price, what's that magic price you're looking for so I can get a ballpark range to see if we're even talking the same language?
You know, I read that book, Never Split the Difference, and I was told that the first person that says price loses.
Well, luckily, okay. Hey, I would say this. Luckily, we're not in a hostage negotiation, my friend. We're trying to get a win-win situation. But if you want to play never split the difference, you know, looks like you're just not really serious about selling. And it's absolutely okay.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I can get 300,000,
Cool. Absolutely.
I would consider it.
Amazing. No, I totally get it. But first, may I ask you a couple questions so I can actually walk through the property to ask some specific questions to see if my partners would even be interested in paying that $300,000.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. And then you go through the process. Does that make sense? Was that good? Were you happy about that or no?
I had a couple of things to that intro.
What? Shoot.
I never get that guy to think about it. Why? Because right in the beginning of the conversation, I let them know, hey, can I ask you a couple questions? You ask me a couple questions.
We said
absolutely okay to say no to me.
We set expectations.
Are you comfortable saying no to me? Yes or no? Great. I'm glad I'm talking.
Let's
to a
go.
shooter.
Perfect.
So as we're going into the conversation, you're reminding them of what value you're building.
Correct.
You're building up their value.
Correct.
What would they like? What would they not like? And what is their expectation?
So, let's talk frame. Let's talk framework, right? You want
That approach, it's okay to say no to me.
you want to do the intro,
Drop their guard.
right? And then what happens after the intro? You want to test some urgency? Are you ready to make a yes or no decision to me? And then you want to set expectations. Right? I like to talk about this because how many times you go through Costco and you get that AT&T salesman is like, yo, do you want to buy some AT&T internet? And you're like, bro, just can I get your card and I'll call you back? And then you never call them back. That's what exactly sellers do. Because you know why? They don't know if they're going to get into a 40-minute conversation. What are you going to sell me, right? What are you selling? Right? So that's exactly what he talked about. I just want to take 5-10 minutes to ask you a specific question about the property, and then I'm going to get this information to my partner to see what your house qualifies for. Right? You're telling them the time that they're going to be on the phone, what the agenda is, and what the end result of that phone call is. Okay? But urgency, what is urgency? There's a million different ways, right? There's a million different ways to set urgency. It's just you want to make sure that they're making a yes or no decision. Oh wow, I don't know what this is. Right? A yes or no decision. Because they're not ready to make a yes or no decision. Why are we going to talk to you for 30 minutes on the phone? Right? Hey, we just sold a flip. We got a couple $1,000s in the bank account. We're ready to move to a next property. If we come to a fair price, you like it, you're definitely ready to you're definitely ready to make a decision, right? Or you're ready to make a yes or no decision, right? If they go, oh, maybe, then you want to kind of dive deeper into that. Maybe, right? Mirroring, and then you just let them talk. And then you can kind of figure out what's bothering them, why they're not. Maybe they haven't figured out where they want to move to, right? My favorite is when people say, I want to downsize. She's like, what do you mean by that? Downsize? What do you mean by that? I want to hear what they're going to say, right? Don't ever assume, by the way. Don't ever assume. So what time is it? I don't want to rant forever. Just want to make sure we're good.
See, I think we're good.
Time to keep going.
Huh? Do you want me?
We got all the time for you.
My voice is gonna go. But does that kind of make sense? Like, I know you know what you're doing, right? Because you always want to set that expectation because that actually really helps you not get ghosted, right? Because they know what they're getting themselves into. So you set expectations and they say groovy, right? This is my preference. I like to go motivation next. Motivation. And then after that is condition, but I'll put it down here because motivation is huge, right? So you want to find out what the motivation is because all this stuff ties into how you're going to make the offer, right? So all this stuff, this is going through a process with the seller, and then you take this information and you do an offer, right? So the better job you do here will help you lowball the offer or pitch a creative deal or whatever, right? This is setting you up. So if you do not do the work here, this is the most important part of the call, motivation. Because if they don't have motivation, why are they going to sell to you for pennies on the dollar, right? So how do you find out? Situation. What's got you thinking about selling the property? Oh, going through a tough time and all this stuff. Oh my gosh. How long have you been dealing with that? What's the impact of that? Whatever they ask you, you ask them a question to dive deeper on that situation, right? You're going through a tough time. I don't know what that means. It can mean your dog died. It can mean you have diarrhea. I don't know. They're all tough times to me. So, tough time, what do you mean by that, right? Blah, 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 blah. Oh my gosh, how long have you been dealing with that? Oh, a year, 2 years? Okay. Well, what makes you feel like you're ready to make a yes or no decision today versus the last 2 years? My mother passed away. Okay. I'm so sorry to hear that. But may I ask a question? Now you think it's a probate? Potential probate deal? Hey, but out of curiosity, have you gone through the probate process? I don't even know what that is. That's a problem that you uncovered that you're going to solve, right? So if you read Never Split the Difference, what is that? The Black Swan method, right? So everything I'm teaching you is a mixture of all these different sales coaches and programs, all this stuff in books. The Black Swan method is to figure out or help the prospect figure out that they have a problem that they didn't realize they had. And then you solve that problem. That gives them that 100% certainty to move forward with you. Does that make sense? So now, you haven't gone through probate, shoot. Let's help you out with that, right? Maybe they have a mother passed away and they haven't paid the bills. Now it's a probate and foreclosure, right? Maybe they owe $36K in arrears and then their mortgage is $1,800 a month and the house has been vacant for 6 months. They need to sell now.
Or maybe the property is also vacant.
Oh yeah, it's vacant. Yeah, 6 months vacant, right? That's pretty rough, right? But you're gonna help them do that process, right? And that's why wholesalers get paid. So if you think wholesalers don't matter, I'm gonna tell you we matter, okay? Because no real estate agents want to help you out there, okay? You heard that, right? Cool. So you get all the information, and now you're like, cool. Thank you so much for sharing. Now I'm gonna kind of go through the boring parts, right? I like to make it a joke, a little playful, because this is really boring, this part. You're gonna ask all the stupid questions, HVAC, blah, 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 blah. And why do you think I say this? Because I'm fully virtual, and I can't go to appointments. So what I do is I actually ask them all the different conditions on the phone, and then they go, well, why don't you come see the property? Well, to be honest, if I went to every single house I talked to, I probably wouldn't have a day job. I'd be freaking driving all day, and I wouldn't be able to do my job, right? Like, you have a job, I have a job, it's not driving around. So we like to do everything virtual. And what we do is we tell them, hey, aren't you buying as is? Yes, absolutely. Our price will not change if you are fully transparent with us to talk about what the property condition is. And if you even want to do it, send photos to us, that'd be perfect. It would help us give you a more accurate offer. And we're men of our words. If we give you an offer, we're going to perform on it. So all I ask for you, you said that you're ready to make a yes or no decision. We just want to make sure that you're being transparent to us. That's also another reason why we set expectations.
I like that. You give yourself a
right?
way out in
So
case they
You set expectations, they said that they're ready, and when you're down here and they give you a weird answer, you said, I thought you were ready to make a yes or no decision. You kind of looped that right back, right? I thought you were a man of your word. I'm a man of my word. I want to make sure that I'm dealing with somebody that has transparency and integrity, because that's what we do, right? I'm an Army veteran. Our company is veteran-owned. We live off these types of values, and we only want to deal with people that deal with, like, in this way, right? I'm messing it up. But does that make sense? You tie it back into that promise that they made you, a micro commitment, okay? So you have all these different things. Do you think you guys are done yet? What's next?
So you've got the motivation, you've got the, then you want to repeat it back to them, right?
Not yet. We're going to go one deeper.
right now.
We're going to go one deeper. So we did the condition.
Okay.
We got to go one step deeper. Deal killers. The stuff that you think you've already finished, and then you say, cool, I'll send you an offer, and then they ghost you, or they have a lot of concerns. Why? Because you haven't figured out everything. Roadblocks. People, time, obstacles, and price. These 4 things are deal killers. At the very end, you make it all the way, you spend 20, 30 minutes talking to this guy, you're ready to go, you're like, man, Jake, my partner, we're about to make $10,000, $15,000, and you send the contract, they ghost you. Why? Cool, got all this condition stuff. Hey, would there be anybody upset if you sold this property and you haven't talked to them? Oh, I gotta talk to my wife. We get that shit out of them right now. Instead, you send an offer and they're like, oh, I gotta talk to my wife about it. And then we kind of go through the whole thing like, cool. Well, is she available right now? Let's get her on the phone. No, she's busy. Okay. Well, I don't think we should really move forward because she's obviously a very big decision maker in this process. We want to make sure that everybody's included when we make this decision, right? And I also want her to be present when we give you that offer. Does that make sense? And obviously, you know, every seller's different. They're going to give you different answers, but you got to be able to overcome that, right? And I don't have enough time to kind of dive into that. Time, super easy. When do you need to close? We're super flexible. We can close 14 days. We can close up to 3-4 months. Just depends on you. We want to be able to be flexible for you. Cool. I want to close in 2 months. Excellent. 2 months. Obstacles. Besides what we talked about today, is there anything else that's holding you back from making a decision today? Oh, I got to move this family cuckoo clock from Germany that we bought. Cool. When do you think I had that? Every story I tell you, I've had. That was a real life story. Cool. Have you talked to a moving company yet? No. Would you like to use mine? I will pay for it. I'll get this. Yeah, I'll get this bad boy out for you, right?
By any means necessary.
I got a car I got to move. Oh my God, we deal with that shit all the time. I got a car to move. Cool, I got a car company that'll move your car, right? You want to get all these things out of the way. Okay, cool. So if I take care of that cuckoo clock and I close in 2 months, we speak to your wife, is there anything else that you need to figure out before you move forward? Yes or no, right? You are literally getting everything out right there on the spot. And you notice I just repeated it. Yep. If I got your cuckoo clock out, I don't know why you guys keep laughing. It's a real thing. If you guys don't have cuckoo clocks, you know, you guys don't have cuckoo clocks? Okay, so I moved that. We don't have one either. But if I move that cuckoo clock and I talk to your wife and she feels good about it and we close on your timeout 2 months, what else is there that you have to figure out before moving forward today?
No, that's it.
Cool. Awesome. So I'm going to wrap this up because I don't want to take up any of your time anymore. And what we're going to do, we're going to set expectations again on the next call. Cool. So we're going to take all this information to my partner and figure out what your property actually qualifies for. This process usually takes 30 to 40 minutes. Are you available to talk, in this time and this time? Cool, yes. Okay, cool. So what on that call, we're going to tell you what your house actually qualifies for and what it looks like to work with us, right? What are you doing? Time, agenda, and what the end result is, right? I'm going to take up, time, We're going to talk about what your house qualifies for, what it looks like to work with us. That's a huge thing. Because people are probably thinking, well, who are these guys? Like, what's their process, right? Well, we're going to explain all that on your next call. So now they have to get to the next gate to actually find out what it looks like to work with us, okay? Expectations. And then you want to schedule a call. So expectations, schedule a call. So now you have the whole blueprint. If you've done a good job here, you figured all their pain, all this fun stuff, you're going to come out with the offer, right? You'll set expectations again. We won't go over that. You want to set expectations on every part of the call. Hey, we're going to give you the offer, blah, blah, blah. You're going to learn what it looks like to work with us. We have this whole script that we do. We send it to the title company, we do all this stuff. Cool. Now we get to the main part. Now we recap. Recap, and then we do roadblocks. So what is this? Motivation, roadblocks. Why? So now you see why it's so important to go through the process the correct way? Because we're going to take all this stuff that they talked about 40 minutes ago, we're going to rehash it right here. So let me kind of recap what's going on, sir. So unfortunately, I'm so sorry. Your wife passed away, your mom passed away. The house has been vacant for 6 months. It's been vacant. You're paying an $1,800 a month mortgage because you just found out about it. You owe $36,000 arrears. You're trying to go to the probate process, but you don't know how to do it, blah, blah, blah. We've talked to your wife. We can close on your timeline, and we're going to get that cuckoo clock out, okay? What me and my partner kind of figured out is we would take care of X, Y, Z. So we'd recap everything that we do for them, have a delivery of tonality, sincerity, that you care, and they're going to have that price because you found out the price somewhere in there. I know you're looking for $202,000. I don't even want to give you the bearer. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. After speaking to my partner, fighting over how much money you can get, sticking my neck out there for you, man, the best I can do is $186,000. And you should.
How much?
What?
You shut up. You shut up.
180 what?
186,000. So she says, oh my God, what? So remember, I want to remind you, we're going to take care of the $36,000 arrears. We're going to help you move that cuckoo clock. We're going to help you do the probate process. We're going to do all these different things. You don't pay no commissions. You don't pay no closing costs. This is how much you would get in your pocket at the end of the day. No? Okay. If I can get this approved by my partner, he's right there in the other office right now. If I can get this approved, what would work for you? Okay? A more advanced thing while you're in the recap. This is something that I didn't really talk about, but this is a more advanced technique to get you across the goal line, right? You want to be able to make them visualize what it looks like to do a deal with you, right? Right now, all they're focused on is price. I want $200,000. That's all I want, right?
Not a penny less.
Not a penny less. That's what she says. But this is why I don't care how much money they ask me for. Because I went through the process. And I'm going to give them 100% certainty that I'm going to be the one to solve their problem and also close and ultimately get money in their pocket. I don't care about the $500,000. I'll knock this down to $185,000, okay? Or $250,000 seller finance. All right? Okay, so advanced part of recap. So you want to split them from price and get them to a result, right? You want to get them there. So how do you do that? Hey, Jay, can I ask you a question? Cool. What's kind of more important to you right now? The purchase price or us taking care of getting rid of that $26,000, that $1,800 a month payment? Because I know you mentioned to me that you're trying to buy another property. Well, how do you think you'll feel if you talk to your wife, obstacle, if you talk to your wife and you told her that you were going to save $2,000 a month on top of getting rid of that debt that you owe? Because you've been dealing with this for 6 months, Jay. In 6 months, you could have had enough to put a down payment on your next property. So how do you think that would feel if you told her that?
That'd be a huge relief, actually.
Huge relief, right? Why is that?
Well, my wife's been bugging me about that extra payment. We already got another oriented, and yeah, it's to be honest with you, you hear that a lot. To be honest with
Yeah.
uh,
No, it's okay. Be real with me. That's what,
we're
be
not
real with me.
sleeping at night with this extra payment on us.
I feel that. I feel that. So, how would you like to kind of proceed?
Can you meet me in the middle?
I need to talk to my partner about this. Maybe we could swing something, okay? What's that price you're looking for, though? So I can really stick my neck out there and fight for you on
Well,
this.
I'm at 200,000. You're at 170. We do like 185.
Okay. Can you hold a minute? Right? And I'll go talk to him. Right? So you see, you never make a decision right there on the spot. F that. No, I'm not even making a decision. Even though if 185 works, I'm going to make him work for it. Why? You don't want to give him 185 and then they think it's too easy. And then you send that contract and they go, damn, honey, he sent that crap to me in 10 minutes. I think we get more. F that. We're going to fight all the way. Even if it works. Jay, the best I can do is 182. And I know I see a lot of people's faces. It's a very painful process. But remember, we do have to make a little bit of money for the, I got people to pay. I got people to feed. Right? I got an acquisition manager that works strictly off commission. We got to make our money somehow. And also at the end of the day, who else is going to help them on the probate process? Who else is going to help them talk to an attorney? I have all the attorneys in Houston, so you can go talk to my attorney, and he'll help you, and we'll pay for it. We pay for everything, right? So yeah, I'm saving $2,000 on the purchase price. I'll give them the 185. I'll just say, hey, the best we could do is 182. And he'd be like, I can't do that. Be like, okay, we can do 185, right? I have to make it sound like that so they are convinced that they're getting a good deal. And they are getting a good deal at the end of the day. Your ARV is like 230, 240, right? You're not going to really make money on the market. Because why? A lot of people will say, I want to list it on the market. Okay. Is that something that you want to do? Do you know the process of dealing with an agent? Oh, yeah, I've sold a house before. Okay, well, on average, it takes about 30 days on market, so it'll sit on the market. And then when you bought this house, how long did it take you to close? 30, 45 days? Okay. Are you in the predicament? Do you feel like this is what can work for you? No, I guess you're right. I'm not trying to convince you otherwise. I'm just trying to tell you, I'm just trying to give you the different options. And you ask them a question. Do you feel, don't say think, do you feel like this is something that you can do? No. Right? Kind of like with the foreclosure process. Have you thought about doing a short sale? Have you thought about a loan modification? No, I can't do that because I'm running out of time. Okay. Because if you just made an offer, they would say no. Because they're not ready to make an offer or they're not ready to receive an offer. Right? So you got to work through the steps so they realize, okay, if a loan mod works, let's do it. I'm going to help you do a loan modification so you keep your house. But if the bank says your foreclosure's in 3 days, you can't do a loan mod. You can't do all these different things. So we want to make sure that they know the right steps and what's going on, and then you can make the offer after that.
Wow, that's like a masterclass.
Okay. I'm done. My voice is, no, I'm just kidding. But does anybody have any questions? I don't want, and also like time and all this stuff, but does anybody have any questions? I know I've been talking for a while, so.
So I want to ask so you did a lot of work, you already pay a lot of money, and before offer, right? So you send the offer before you get the offer, you did all this work or after the offer?
No, so this is a whole phone call for us, and we go all the way down. If they give me a verbal, then we'll send the contract. I want you to say yes first. Right? So hey,
Nail down the price first.
yeah, hey,
Send the contract.
I'll offer you $200,000 for this house, blah, 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 and then they say yes, cool. My transaction coordinator will send you the contract, and we'll actually walk you through the agreement in case you have any questions. And if it's good for you, my transaction coordinator, Cindy, will take it over from there and talk to the title company and all this stuff.
But if you did all those things, they refused, they suddenly they said, I will not sell the house. What do you want to do?
Did they sign a contract or not? Did they sign it yet?
Not sign the contract, but you already paid the money to did some work on the.
Oh, I will not do that unless I sign a contract. Yeah. Like we'll put in the contract, right? We'll put in the agreement to move their stuff and all this stuff. But I'm not going to do that until we sign a contract.
Oh, okay.
That's just crazy. That's silly, right?
Okay.
And we open escrow. So we'll open escrow at the title company, and then we'll start doing all the other process.
You never want to start spending.
Can you imagine? And I'm like, yeah, I'll spend 10 grand to move your clock. You promised me, right? You said yes. Okay, right? Does that make sense? Cool. Any other questions?
Any other question?
I have a question.
Shoot, brother.
All right, Dennis.
So do you focus more on inbound lead or outbound lead or both?
So what I would do personally, well, it depends on who you are. Like, are you full-time real estate investor or are you part-time like I was?
Oh, part-time.
Okay. How many hours a week do you have?
They could at least 20 hours.
A week? Okay, to be honest, I don't think you should do inbound. Why? Because, have you heard of the term speed to lead? Yeah, no, I would do inbound, PPC, or actually all three are kind of inbound, right? Because you send out a mail and they call you. But if you don't have time, you need a software or system to like auto text somebody. So like, let's say you get a lead in, boom, like new lead. If you are working and you wait 8 hours, you basically just wasting your money, right? Speed to lead. What's like the statistic? Like if you answer a lead within 1 minute, you have like a 36,000% chance higher to convert the